Hi everyone, Jasmine here, and thanks for joining me today for our monthly blogging Q&A. So for those of you who this may be your first time joining, what I like to do here is just have a nice blogging discussion. So what you do is if you have any questions regarding blogging, feel free to post them in the chat and I will answer them live for you. But first, what I typically do for those who may be your first time joining is I like to do a quick intro of myself. So, hi, I'm Jasmine. I have been blogging for a little over 12 years now. My first blog I started when I graduated from college. It's called Miss Millennium Magazine. It's still going strong. And then I have another blog called Blogging Money Life. And with that blog, I teach other people how to make money blogging, as well as talk about my experience of moving from the United States to Costa Rica with my husband and our son, Luca. So those are my two blogs. I've done a lot with blogging. I've taken sponsored trips. I have written well over 2,000 articles between my two blogs that I have. And I have learned a lot along the way. So nothing gives me more joy than being able to, one, talk about blogging, and then two, being able to help other people who may be struggling with their blog currently and are just in need of some advice. So I like to do this once a month. And I hope that you have come with some of your best blogging questions. Now, I know that it's usually a little slow in the beginning here while everyone's getting settled in. So something I typically do when we first get started is I come prepared. So I usually have a topic that I want to talk about, and I'll go into what that topic is in a little bit here. And as I'm going through that, I'm still checking to see if there are any questions that come through, and I make sure to answer those questions as they come up. So with all that said, I know that was a lot of stuff I just said in 2 minutes. If you are here, feel free to post a comment in the chat, letting me know who you are, where you're at, and tell me what your blog is. And if you have any questions regarding blogging, feel free to post them in the chat as well. And I will make sure to get those answered for you in real time. And there's no limit. You can ask as many questions as you want. These usually go on for about an hour, maybe a little sooner. It ends a little sooner than that if we're not getting a whole lot of questions, but you have some time to come up with some of your questions. So I always like to have a nice topic, like I mentioned, on blogging to talk about. And something that has taken up a lot of my time lately that I wanted to talk about with you all today is developing content so that you are getting ahead. So my big goal is I want to make sure that I'm at least 1 month ahead with my blogging content. And 1 month ahead for me is I publish 2 blog posts a week on each of my blogs. So that means that I have to have 4 articles edited and scheduled and ready to go per week. So usually in a given week, depending on the month, of course, I'm publishing, let me see here. So yeah, I'm publishing about 16 articles a month. So my goal is to get 16 articles edited, scheduled, and ready to go before I get to September. And I am proud to say that on August 30th, I am only 3 articles shy of hitting my goal. And it was a lot of work. It took a lot of time, but I know that if I can get ahead with my content, then it frees me up to do other things with my blog. For example, I can spend more time thinking about what type of articles that I want to publish for November. I can spend some time thinking about my blog and ways to scale it, maybe fixing some of the issues that I have on my site, and then just a number of other things. Like for anyone who has a blog, I'm sure you're aware that there's so much more that goes into your blog besides actually creating content. So with that said, I love to get ahead with the content creation piece, and it just frees up my mind to do other things. Now, this is no easy feat, and it's not something where, I say, okay, if I'm going to write about this topic, I do keyword research, and then, I schedule it and go into the next article. I do have a system that I use to make sure that I am able to bulk create content. And I'm going to go through that system with you guys today and how I go about bulk creating content. But before I get into that, we did have some questions that were submitted early for people who couldn't join the Q&A today. So I'm going to start off with those questions, and I'll be checking in the chat as well to see what questions I have. And I see we already have one. First question comes from Nina. Nina says, "Hey, Jasmine, this is Nina from North Carolina. I have a question. First of all, so excited to be here. My question is, what is the best way to make money with my blog if I don't have a lot of followers?" This is a great question, Nina. And there's a couple of ways I think that you can make money with your blog without a lot of followers. The first way I would say is the first way that I made some substantial income with my blog, and that is doing sponsored posts. So the thing about sponsored posts is you don't have to have a whole lot of traffic. Sure, if you ever applied to a sponsored opportunity, you see a lot of websites that say this blogger must have at least 50,000 followers, or 50,000 social media followers, or 100,000 page views a month. And I can tell you that from experience that they don't always stick to that, because the reality is there are a lot of bloggers out there. There are not a lot of professional bloggers, at least the ones that not a whole lot that are actually in those spaces where they're trying to get sponsored opportunities. So what really matters when it comes to a sponsored opportunity is making sure that you fit the criteria that they're looking for. I love to tell this example because I had an Amazon business at one point where I was selling stainless steel French presses, and I wanted to work with different bloggers to promote my business. Well, I searched for coffee bloggers. And if you think, oh, wow, that's so niche, I'm sure you found a whole lot of bloggers. No, no, I probably found a total of 20 coffee blogs. And out of those 20, there were only like 10 that were actually active with their blogs. And out of the 10 that were active, I only had 6 reply back to me after I emailed them and said, hey, I'm interested in doing a sponsored opportunity with you for your blog. So the point of that story is, and I'll say one more thing about that. Some of the blogs I worked with were so small, like they weren't getting a whole lot of traffic, maybe 5,000 page views a month. But I'll tell you, one of the blog that performed the best for me was not the biggest blog, not the blog that had the most social media followers or the blog that had the most content. It was the blog that had my audience there. So she specifically talked about coffee, and she was very consistent about posting on her blog, and she had a very dedicated audience. And I got way more traction from that blog than I did from the blogger that had way more traffic, but wasn't as specialized to my topic. So I say all of that to say, don't be intimidated by a lot of these brands who say they want this and they want that. What they really want is someone who fits their target audience. So if you want to make money with your blog, I would say think about brands that would have the exact same audience as your audience, right? So if you're a sewing blogger, like go out and find all the different sewing notions and, the sewing machines. Those are the people you want to work with, and they happily want to work with you. So that's the first way I would do it. Sponsored posts. And you don't have to have a whole lot of followers or traffic to do that. The more traffic and followers you gain, the better, the more you'll get paid. But it's not something that you need to have off the bat to do well with it. The second way I would say to make money with your blog if you don't have a lot of followers is affiliates. And what's great about affiliates is if you can write something persuasively, then you should be able to get the traffic that you need to your site. Now, you can't just write any article for an affiliate. You have to write affiliate content, and you have to write it in a way where you're going to capture the people who are already going to buy something. So, for example, if you wanted to promote laptops, right? you wouldn't write an article that's titled, what are, I'm trying to think about a good title for this. So you wouldn't write an article that is more information based. You don't want to write an article about laptops that people have used in the past, or I know laptops that were on movies, famous movies. That's a cool topic, but someone who's searching for laptops from famous movies probably isn't looking to buy a laptop. They're probably just curious as to what was this laptop in this movie. But if you write an article about here are the best laptops if you're a blogger, that person is searching what's the best laptop if I'm a blogger? What's the best laptop to use for blogging? Because I'm searching for a laptop. So that's a really long way to explain that, but think backwards. If you're going to do an affiliate promotion about something, you want to capture the readers that are searching for that thing. And that way, even if you don't get a whole lot of traffic to your blog, you're going to get traffic to that article because you're doing the right thing, thinking about the end user. So let me know if that is clear. I don't think I did a good job explaining that, Nina. So if it's confusing, just let me know, and I'll be happy to answer it again or be it more clear. And then you said, congratulations to your success, such an inspiration to aspiring bloggers like myself. Thank you so much, Nina. And if I can do it, you can do it too. No problem. I'm just an ordinary gal who wanted to write because I enjoyed it in school, and it has turned into something that has paid me money. And you can do the same. I have another question. Women over 40 who are looking to add a fabulous touch to their life. Is that too broad? It's a lifestyle blog where I talk about beauty, wellness, and some food as well. No, I don't think so. I think there's a couple of ways you can niche your blog. The first is getting really niche, like I'm going to talk about crafting specifically. And that's more so focusing on a task. But there's other sides you can go to where you're specifically targeting a person. So I think about it like this, like for a crafting blog, like it can be a mom, it can be a teacher, it can be all these different people who are interested in crafts. But for a blog like how yours is, you're looking for women over 40 and who are looking to add a fabulous touch to their life. What I would say is make sure you have a clear understanding of who your audience is. So the women over 40, where are they in their careers? How much money are they making in average? What are some of their aspirations at this point in their life? Are they looking to me, this sounds more like luxury. So like, are they looking for luxurious ways to like build their beauty, or are they looking for like budget ways to like maintain their beauty and wellness and food? Those are the things you need to figure out specifically for your audience, and then you can find them. I guarantee you there's probably, whatever you choose, if there's like fabulous in 40s on a budget or luxury fabulous in 40, that I guarantee both of those Facebook groups exist. And those are your people. You want to talk to them. You want to survey them. You want to ask them questions to say like, hey, what are some of the things that you're really interested in? And what are some topics you would love to read about? And I think that's a great way for you to get some good traction for your audience. So long story short, no, it's not too broad. The only thing I would say is make sure that you understand your niche in detail, like it's your best friend, and make sure you're only creating content for them. Great questions, Nina. I loved it. So Leah has a question. Just to clarify, if you do an affiliate post, it's not sponsored, correct? The goal is strictly to sell product through your affiliate link. Great question. Yes and no. So when you're creating an affiliate post, meaning like I just found out about this cool product and I'm going to write an article targeting people who are searching for this cool product, my goal is to write something that gets people to click my affiliate link. In that case, that is not a sponsored post, but your affiliate link must be no follow. And that's just because if someone clicks it, that you're going to make money from it. So you don't want to make it a do follow link. So that's the only thing to think about for that. Now I said it depends because there have been opportunities where, for example, I'm in the Commission Junction platform And I love this platform because it has contact information for the various affiliate managers. So sometimes I'll see a product and I'm really excited about it. Like, man, this blow dryer is like phenomenal. I want to write a blog post about it, but of course, I'm not going to write about something I've never used. So one, can you send me the blow dryer so I can test it out? Two, are you willing to give me some type of promotional code so I can do an editorial about this post? And three, I want to do like a full series. I want to do a blog post. I want to do social media, and I want to talk to you about that. I want to do a sponsored post and also make money through the affiliate. And I have done this quite a bit. A lot of times they're excited to hear that you're so interested in their products and they're willing to pay you. And actually, Commission Junction is set up in this way where you can invoice people directly through the platform to get paid up front for a sponsored post, and then also get paid an affiliate commission. So in a case like that, yes, it is considered a sponsored post and you have to disclose it at the top of the article. And you also have to have no follow links and disclose that anyone who clicks on your links, you do get a commission if they purchase. So I hope that answers your question, Leah. If not, go ahead and post another one. I'd be happy to clarify. Okay. And then Nina said, thank you. It helps. So roundup blogs are pretty much the best types. It could be. I've done roundup blog posts when it comes to something like, here are the top 10, like I said, laptops, but you can also do a dedicated post for a specific product. So one of my top affiliate articles was a dedicated post to that product. And I'll say, hey, I tried out this product. It was amazing. Here's how it went. And I start off by saying, here's what the product is. Here's the background behind the company. Here is what I thought was going to happen. And then here's what happened. On day one, this thing happened. On day two, this thing happened. And then I'll say, here are some of the pros for, I think, this product. Then I'll say, here are some of the cons from using this product. And then I do a conclusion. Hey, overall, I loved it. Or overall, I wouldn't recommend it. Usually I want to say, I loved it. If it's something I'm not going to recommend, I wouldn't write a blog post about it. But yeah, I loved it. Here's my promo code. Go and purchase it. And if you have any questions about it, post them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer it for you. And I feel like those go a lot further because I've read so many of those reviews. That is so much better than a Google review. First of all, I know this person used it because she's talking about her experience. I share a lot of pictures of myself using the product. And again, if it's an affiliate, don't be afraid to ask, hey, can you send me this so I can use it? And it'll be that much more convincing when you have original pictures and you have an experience with this product. And yeah, it quickly rose to the top 10 of my blog, me writing an article like that, which you would never believe that that's something that will take off as much. But if people are really considering a particular product and there's not a whole lot of reviews for it out there, especially if there's not like a lot of Google reviews, it goes really far. So really good question, Nina. Keep them coming. Okay. And then Leah has another question. Should affiliate links always be no follow? I haven't heard that term before. No worries. No worries. Yes, they should always be no follow. And I can't remember that legally that's what it's supposed to be. They should be no follow and they should also be disclosed. So I'm going to show you what this looks like on one of my blogs here. Give me 1 minute. And I have it set up on both blogs where I have a disclosure that shows up at the top of every post that says, that has my disclosure for affiliate links. And I don't have affiliate links in every article that I publish, but I have it in enough of my content where just to be safe, I make sure to disclose it. So let me just share my screen with you really quick. So this is an article on my blog, Miss Millennium Magazine. And at the top of every single post, you'll see my little disclosure. So this post may contain affiliate links, which means that if you make a purchase using these links, I may receive commission at no extra charge to you. Thanks for your support. And then if they want to read the full disclosure, they click on the link and it goes to my affiliate disclaimer page. Now, you don't have to have this, but this is one of those things where just to protect yourself legally, you explained it clearly, saying like, hey, this is what a referral link is, or an affiliate link for those who may not know what that means. You do have to disclose that before the link is added. And as far as making sure that the link is no follow, that's a rule for Google. And you want to make sure that it's no follow because whenever you have a do follow link, which is the default when you link to any type of content. For example, this link that I'm scrolling over, this is a link to another post on my site. It's a do follow link. But if I were to link out to a paid affiliate link, which I'm not sure if I have affiliate links in this article. Just give me 1 second, I'm checking. Maybe this is one. Nope. It's also good to make sure you have links to other pieces of content in every article you have on your site, other pieces of content within your site. And that's good to make sure your site is sticky and Google likes it. All right, so I don't think I have any affiliate links in this one, but they're all no follow if I do, just so that I'm not breaking any rules with Google. So any Amazon link I share to, any link to an affiliate product, and then if I do a sponsored post, and even if I'm not getting paid for that affiliate link, those also have to be no follow because I'm being paid for that article. So yes, that is a rule. So hopefully that helps. Leah. Nina says, what does no follow mean? Sorry, I'm not familiar with that term either. No problem. Okay, so I'll break it down. When it comes to Google, there's something that every website has. It's called domain authority, or a DA score. And the way this works is Google has a hierarchy of every website that exists. So for example, in Google's eyes, the number one website is Google. And I think number two is like Facebook. At one point it was Facebook or whatever. And the lower your number is, wait, am I thinking about this correctly? No, I'm sorry. Forget what I just said. That's an Alexa score. Domain authority is a score from 0 to 100. And the higher your score, the better you are, the better your site, or the better grade, I would say, Google gives your website. And so for domain authority, the higher your domain authority, the more credit your site gets. So if I have a domain authority of 50, for example, then I'll have all these other sites that contact me that has a domain authority of like 20 or 15 or 5 that says, please, can I put a link on your website? Because if they do, then they get that juice, or that helps build up their score. So now they go from being a 5 to like an 8 because they just link to my website. Every site has this. If you're not sure what your domain authority is, you can go to a free website called Moz. It's moz.com, moz.com. I'm going to give you guys a link to it. And you can type in your website and see what your score is. So whenever you hear about people doing backlinking and things like that, they do that to build up their domain authority. And this is something that you can use when you're trying to bid for different sponsored posts. So you say, hey, I have a domain authority at 59. That's why I think I should charge X for posting content on my site, because that it matters. So anyway, I preface it with all of that because when you're talking about a do follow link and a no follow link, it has to do with that score. So if someone wants to backlink to my site, it has to be a do follow link in order for them to get that score with Google. And Google says that's perfectly fine, so long as it's done in good faith and people aren't paying to get do follow links, if that makes sense. So the rule is, if you are being paid for a piece of content already, you cannot have do follow links in that content, because Google looks at that and it goes against their whole organic lifestyle when it comes to having legitimate links in your website. So I hope that makes sense. Everything's good to go when it comes to doing a do follow link, so long as you're not getting paid for it. If you are getting paid for it, it should be a no follow link. And the consequences of not following these rules is you could get kicked off of Google, meaning someone could go search for your blog name on Google and you won't show up. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to happen tomorrow if you accidentally forget a link or two. But it's just something to be wary of. It's something that Google monitors for randomly. And it's just one of those things you want to make sure you're on the up and up for. So I share that link with you guys. It's in the chat, and you can check out your domain authority. And I'll include an article about do follow links as well, why they're important, and yeah, what they mean. So I'll put that in the chat here too. Hopefully I explained that well. It's one of those things where I feel like I've known it for so long, and it's a little difficult to explain because there's a lot of background knowledge involved. So good questions though. I think that they're really good questions. Have a question from Day. I'm building a blog for book lovers, book reviews, author news, and affiliate articles about products readers may want to use through Amazon. Awesome. How much should you niche down with book readers? I would say, I'm not sure. So like, I'm a book reader. I'm in a lot of Facebook groups for books. I think that you're in a good niche, honestly. Like, there's nothing I love more than getting a nice bookmark, finding out about an awesome book sale, and then of course, like finding different books to listen to. I like listening to audiobooks. So I think that is a really good niche. As far as like how much you should niche down, I say I'm assuming that since this is your niche, you're probably your target audience as well. You must like reading books as well. So just think about yourself. What would you like to see on a blog? What topics? I know for me, some things that I enjoy is what is everyone reading right now? So I would love articles like, here are the top 10 articles, the top 10 books that everyone's talking about this month. And that's part of the reason why I'm in so many different book Facebook groups, because I want to know what is everyone reading. And if I hear people talking about a book enough times, I'm going to go and just read it myself, even if it's something I wouldn't typically read. So that's something I'd be interested in. And then just different accessories that make reading, interesting. So yeah, I can't exactly answer that because it's specific to a niche. I'm just speaking from what I would like. But honestly, I feel like one of the best things you can do for your blog when it comes to, is this a good topic that someone would be interested in, is one, think about yourself. What would you like? How would you go about purchasing something? And then write content around that. And then the second thing I would say is do some keyword research. That is so important when it comes to writing any content. I use RankIQ, which I'll share RankIQ, my affiliate link with you guys for that. It has literally changed my life when it comes to just blogging. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. Like, my traffic has grown a lot. And it's just because I just spent a lot of time doing keyword research and finding topics that people actually want to read about. So RankIQ is a good one. SEMrush is another excellent tool that I use sometimes when it comes to keyword research. And then the third tool I like to use for keyword research is Keywords Everywhere, which is probably the most affordable of the three tools. And it's just you buy credits and you can search on Google for different topics, and it'll show you how competitive a keyword is, how many people are searching for it in a given month. And I actually have a video on my strategy for doing good keyword research using Keywords Everywhere on YouTube. Let me see if I can grab that, and I'll post the link for you guys for that too. So yeah, I think that should probably help. But you let me know if if it doesn't, or if there's anything else I can answer in regard to that topic. It's always hard. I feel like we're so close to our niche sometimes that it's hard for us to take a step back and see like, well, what do people want? Why aren't people reading this? But you know, you know the answers to that. Sometimes you just got to take a step back and trust yourself a little bit more. So I hope that helps. I just posted a few links to my favorite keyword research places. So the first I said RankIQ, the second is SEMrush, and then the third, this is a YouTube video I did on using keywords everywhere. So how to go about doing that. And it's a pretty affordable tool. All right, Day says, yay, that's a great idea. Thank you. I'm glad to hear that. And he said, great information. I really appreciate it. Perfect. Yay. I see I have another question from Nina. Is there a disclosure that I should use or state in my blog? Yes. If you are putting affiliate links on your blog, you should be disclosing it using the disclosure similar to the one that I just showed you guys. So I just shared a link to that blog post that I showed you. You can read it. Feel free to use something similar for your blog at the top of all those articles. And that's if you have affiliate links anywhere. I set it up so that it just automatically populates on every blog post on my site. And that makes things a lot easier. Even if there are no affiliate links, at least I'm covered. So yes, that should be there. And then if you're doing a sponsored post, then there's a little bit different disclosure that you want to add to that article. And that's something I do manually because not every post I do is a sponsored post. I'm going to see if I can find what that disclosure looks like. So it varies depending on who you're working with, because sometimes a brand will say, this is what I want the disclosure to say specifically. And I just put down what they want me to say. But I usually use my own type of disclosure. So here's one. I'll show you an example of a sponsored post I did before. And this is one where the brand said, you need to say this specifically. So this is an article. Here we go. This is a sponsored post I did with PetSmart. And they gave me this disclosure to put at the very top of the article. So you see, I have my typical affiliate disclosure, and that comes before every single post. But here I have a disclosure that says this post is sponsored by PetSmart and the Blog Pause Professional Blogger Network. I'm being compensated for helping spread the word about the launch of Natural Balance products at PetSmart. But Miss Million Magazine only shares information we feel is relevant to our readers. PetSmart is not responsible for the content of this article. So this is one where they just said, like, you have to say all of these things. I'm like, okay, fine. And I put that in there. But essentially what your sponsored post disclosure should say is something along the lines of, hey, I am being paid for this, even though these are still my words. Like, I'm not lying to you. This is a legitimate review. And two, this is the brand who's paying me. So that's important to share. And if there are cases where I have a sponsored post and affiliate, I used to put another sentence in here that says, also, if you click on my affiliate links, I may get a commission, but I don't do that anymore because I have this disclosure at the top of every article. So I'll share this link with you guys if you want something to look at. This is one too where I said, you don't necessarily have to put this much in there. This is just what the brand said that they wanted it to say. So yeah, hopefully that helped. Okay, man, you guys have some really good questions tonight. So I'm so glad. Definitely keep them coming. While you guys are thinking, I'm going to ask some of the questions that I received prior to this call. So one question I got, someone emailed me, someone named Gina. Gina says, I don't know if I'll be able to make it, but I do have a question. How do I fix blurry images? I upload clear ones slightly larger than the specifications, but it's still blurry. What are your tricks? Okay, so what I do when I have issues with blurry images, the first thing I do is I get out of it being a JPEG, and I switch it to a PNG. For whatever reason, a PNG image is a higher quality than a JPEG. And you have the ability to, at least on a Mac, I can scale it up to say I want it to be the highest quality, or I want to lower it so that it's not so high quality so it can actually go on my blog. So I usually switch to PNG, and that solves a lot of my problems as far as it not being blurry. The other thing you want to pay attention to if you're having issues with blurry images is look at the size maximum you have on WordPress, because it could be that the size max you have is too small or too little to get a quality image for what you're trying to do. I know for mine it's 2 megabytes. I think it's 2 megabytes per image, but I know you can adjust that somewhere. Don't ask. I'm not a technical person, although I can do some basic HTML things, but that is not my specialty. But if you still have issues after you switch from a JPEG to a PNG, that would be the next thing I would look into, trying to increase that maximum for images in WordPress. And that should solve your problem. You can switch this, and if you use Canva, it's really easy to switch from a JPEG to a PNG. And then if you have your desktop, that's pretty easy too. On a desktop, a Mac or PC, it's pretty easy to switch from a JPEG to a PNG. Just change those last 3 letters from JPG to PNG. So that's a good question. And I know I had that issue for a long time before I put those 2 things together, that PNG is a higher quality image compared to a JPEG. All right. I also have a Facebook group called Bloggers Supporting Bloggers, and we have a few questions that came in our weekly Q&As. So I wanted to ask a couple of those too. And of course, for those of you who are watching live, feel free to post your questions in the chat and I can answer those in real time as well. All right, so this question is from Jessica Nielsen. Jessica says, for those of you who have been blogging for a while, how do you go about getting relevant backlinks to help your site? And I think this is a really good question, because eventually you're going to have to get backlinks to your site. Now, I will say that if you're writing good quality content, a lot of those backlinks are going to happen automatically. Like, people are going to say, oh, wow, this is a great post. I'm going to link to it in my website because it's relevant to the topic that I'm talking about right now. For example, I just shared a link with y'all in the chat here on do follow versus no follow links. And that's not my blog, that's someone else. And they just happen to write really good content that I just shared with you all. People do the same thing when they're writing good blog content. They want to put a backlink and they give you all the credit because you didn't ask them to do that. You didn't pay them to do that. So that's where you get that higher domain authority, by getting people who link to your content because you are adding so much value. So that would be my first tip. Write good content, right? And you'll get backlinks. But eventually you're going to get to a point where you're like, all right, I'm tired of these little sites just grabbing my content. I need some bigger sites. I need some bigger names to talk about my site with some do follow links so I can grow. And what you want to do for that is a couple of things. The first is guest posting. And guest posting is nice because you can find other bloggers who have a close enough domain authority to yours. So for example, if your domain authority is 15, you don't want to go to someone whose domain authority is like 82 and say, hey, can I write an article and have a link back to my site? They may do it. They may be okay with that. But if you're looking for someone, you want to do like a link exchange or something, you want to do someone who's closer to yours, maybe just a little bit higher than yours, so that you can get that do follow link. And you have to specify it's do follow, because you don't want to do all of that work and they give you a no follow link. That just wouldn't be fun. So writing guest posts for other bloggers is a good way to do it, and make sure you negotiate getting a do follow link up front. And the second is doing some type of content, what is it called? Syndication, content syndication. So for example, I wrote some good posts on my site, Miss Millennium Magazine, and I saw some good traction for it. So I said, I'm gonna go to some of these bigger websites and publish that article there. And some sites I did that on. BuzzFeed has a platform where you can just go on and you can write an article on BuzzFeed, and BuzzFeed has a huge domain authority. After I put an article on BuzzFeed, even though it was one that I wrote and it wasn't like, it didn't have to be edited or anything from anyone at BuzzFeed, I still got a huge lift in my domain authority because I published an article on BuzzFeed. Huffington Post has something like this a while back. I don't think they have it anymore, but you do want to go to some of these bigger sites that accept guest posts and offer to write something for them. And they understand the benefit of having a do follow link. They're so high in the sky with their domain authority that they don't care that your site may not be even close to their domain authority. So I would do a quick Google search for your niche. So for example, we're going to use Dave's example, book reading websites, or I just say book websites that take guest posts. Book websites that take guest posts. I'll just do a quick search myself here. And then you'll see a nice list of different websites that will show that are accepting guest posts. I'll share my screen with you guys so you can see what I'm seeing. Now, I did a search for book websites that take guest posts, and I didn't do, there we go. So I'll skip past the sponsor stuff. Writer for books says submit a guest post and unleash your creativity. So there's one. Ultimate list of book blogs that accept guest posts. Look at that. There's an article where someone already put together a list of book blogs that you can go and write a guest post for. So that's awesome. Books Charming also is taking guest posts. And there's other websites that list all different websites that are accepting guest posts. Now, of course, you want to make sure you check their domain authority before you go and submit, because you want to make sure it's worth your time. So for example, this is the Book Smuggler's Den. I have the Moz Chrome extension on my browser, so I can look on people's websites and see what their domain authority is. And so long as this website has a higher domain authority than mine, then it's worth it for me to go through and find or write a guest post for them. So I have to log in to this, but I'm not going to do that. But once I do log in, I should be able to see their domain authority up in the little square in my browser here. So yeah, that's it. It's pretty simple, right? So I'll stop sharing my screen. All right, so I think that was a good question on like building, getting relevant backlinks to help your site. Let's see here. Someone else asked a question. Does anyone else have this recurring problem? I use WordPress and randomly it will erase my description and keyword for the post. It's infuriating. I'm not sure. That's more of a technical question, and it could be a number of things. I know I've had that happen to me before, and what the problem has been is I'll make a change using a specific plugin. So for example, I have a plugin that automatically puts in links to other posts on my website in that blog post I'm working on. And what it does is it won't save any of my changes. So I have to make sure I hit save draft before I hit this button, because I lose all my stuff and it is so frustrating. And that doesn't happen all the time. It really just depends on the plugin that you're using. So my feedback would be save draft, keep saving draft, and don't forget to save draft while you're writing content. And that should help with that. So let's see here. Okay, and that's it. That's all I have for questions that were sent in ahead of time. So I'm going to get into my topic for the day, and that was talking about bulk creating content. And I won't spend too much time on this because I know we're running short, but I'll tell you my strategy for bulk creating content. I told you I'm trying to create 16 articles between my 2 blogs to be scheduled ahead of time so that I am 1 month ahead before September 1st. And I'm only 3 articles away from getting there. So what I do is I start off by doing keyword research. I do that with RankIQ. And like I mentioned, RankIQ is an awesome platform. I usually go through their list of keywords and see what I can rank for quickly. And once I pick out what those 16 keywords are going to be, 8 for Blogging Money Life, 8 for Miss Millennium Magazine, then I start the outlining process. Now, what's great about this is I do this in RankIQ as well. And I'll just show you what this looks like for me, because I use RankIQ every day. I'm obsessed with this tool. There it is. All right, so what you do in RankIQ, you run a report. I get 8 reports a month, and for every report, it's a different key phrase. So here's one, for example, Halloween romance movies. I picked it because we're getting close to fall, and I can rank ultra fast for it, which is usually what I want to focus on when it comes to ranking on my blog. So after I get my keywords, I already have all my keywords set up here for my next few articles that are coming up. I go to the SEO report. And what they tell me is I have to get an A++. It has to be 2,600 words, and I'll be able to rank for ultra fast based on my domain authority and the little amount of competition there is for this particular keyword. I'll scroll down, come up with a title, and they'll give me a grade on that title. Awesome. So then I'll take my title and I make my way over to the content optimizer. And from here, I put in that title. I had 11, but I put 15 here now. And I'll create an outline. I'll do an intro. I'll come up with my boldest subheaders. And I come up with my boldest subheaders because I'm looking at the keywords on the right side here that need to be included in the article. So that's how I came up with the topics I'm going to talk about here. For example, one of the keywords that I have in this is, let's see here, Tom Hiddleston. And all the time I'm thinking, like, what romantic horror movie has Tom Hiddleston in it? And I remembered it was Crimson Peak. So I made sure to add that there. And when I go through each of these articles, I'm going to list out all the different actors that are included so I can hit these keywords. Now, I don't just do this and I'm done. I do this for all of my keywords. So that's the thing about bulk creation. You don't want to like stop and go to the next thing where I'm going to write this article, because now I have to switch my brain over to doing that. And once I do this one time, I'm already kind of an autopilot, so I can continue to do that for some of my other ones. So I have this one here, Epic Travel Bag. I've already started to do my outline for that one. And I'm going to do that for the rest of these until I get to all the different keywords that I want to do for the next month and get them outlined. Now, for me, once I'm done outlining the content, I'll either write the content, and I have myself as a writer here, or I will assign it to one of my freelance writers. So I have their names here. I can change it to whoever's going to write that content for me for that particular post. And then I'll alert them and let them know, like, hey, there's an article with your name on it. Can you get it done by this day? So then they write it. So I'll probably take a week, maybe 2, to get all the content written. And that's between me and my team of writers writing 16 different posts. So we get the content written. Once that's done, I move all the content over to WordPress. Again, I'm doing this in bulk. I'm moving it all one by one. Ooh, excuse me. I'm moving all the content one by one, and I'm not doing any editing on the content until all the content has been moved over to the website. And again, I'm doing this because it's so much easier. Once you do that first one, that's the only time your brain is on. The rest of it is like, I already did this once. Now it's just muscle memory. And I'm usually doing this while I'm like listening to an audiobook or just multitasking with whatever, listening to music. After I get the content in WordPress, I create all of my social media images in Canva, and I do this all on the same day. I just go from one to the other. And what makes this easier too is I have a template. So if you use Canva, go ahead and set up a template for yourself that fits in with your brand colors and design, and just go through those templates. So you just have to copy and paste the title, change like the stock image, and you can just keep going, because that makes things so much easier if you do that. So I usually get that done. And each of these tasks is probably, with the exception of writing the blog content, each of these tasks usually takes me a day. So I'll spend one day working on Canva images. I'll spend one day moving the content over from RankIQ to WordPress. I'll spend another day doing all my outlines. I'll spend another day editing the content. So, I have to get out Grammarly. I need to make sure that nothing is formatted incorrectly, or I don't have any spelling or any issues like that. Another day I'll spend adding all my affiliate links to content that I need, adding in links to different content on my website to make sure my article is sticky. And before I schedule anything, I usually let a day sit in between me doing all the editing so I can just review it one more time, and then schedule the content. And it is so nice to just knock each article out one by one. But creating in bulk, like, it definitely makes a big difference. So yeah, that's my strategy when it comes to getting ahead. I know it sounds like a lot, but if you have the right tools and you have the time, I probably spend in a given week, I'll probably spend about 10 hours a week on my blog, because I have a full-time job with my blogs, and I'm able to dedicate such a little time to it because I am doing this bulk creation method. So it has worked very well for me in the past. So I hope it works well for you too. I have another question. Do you ever use free photography sites like Pexels or Unsplash? Would you advise against it? Yes, I use those sites all the time. Mostly what I use is Unsplash, or is it Unsplash? I use Unsplash pretty regularly because they have really good images, and they're royalty free, so you don't have to worry about getting in trouble for using those types of sites. I've used Pexels before too. What I typically just use, I have a paid Canva account, and I know Canva has their own stock images that you can use if you're a paid member. And I usually use those because that's where I'm creating most of my images. And yeah, for content where I need to add an image in, I'll use Unsplash because it's just so much easier. And their images are so beautiful. And then I know it's not going to cost me anything. So yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with using those type of sites. Just make sure you're adding in your alt tags for all of your images that are being added, because that is a huge way to make sure you're getting good SEO traffic from your images as well. So good question. Good question. Okay, guys, if there aren't any other questions, I really enjoyed our time today. You guys posted some really good questions, and I am looking forward to doing this again next month. Let me see. Next month, I usually do my Q&A the last Wednesday of every month. And for next month, we're going to be meeting on, give me 1 second, I'll tell you. Wednesday, September 27th at 6 p.m. Mountain Time again. I will see you guys then. And if you have any other questions in the meantime, you can join my Supporting Bloggers Facebook group, where we do a weekly blogging Q&A where everyone gets in and they answer questions. So that shouldn't be a problem. But for any questions that are unanswered, I typically go in and answer them in this Q&A once a month. So here's a link to that Facebook group if you want to join. And yeah, check us out on my blog at bloggingmoneylife.com. I have a lot of content there that shows you how to make money with your blog, how to grow your blog. Definitely check out my blog, Miss Millennium Magazine, if you want some examples of content I've created from pretty much everything under the sun. You can check that out too. And I will see you guys in 1 month. Thanks for joining me. Bye.